Hello everyone, welcome to FPL Positive. Like, share, and subscribe our channel and click on the bell icon to never miss another update.
Hello and welcome to the FPL Positive. This is Mohar and we have Samrat and Sarthak. Three of us will be reviewing the FPL season this year and we'll also take a look at how we can go about selecting the teams for every game week with potential options and chip strategies. Three of us have been flirting around the top 2% of the FPL every season, and being FPL fanatics, we felt that it was time for us to share our FPL strategy as well as learn it from all our viewers. We love being a part of the FPL community, and if there was some kind of test done on us, you'll all find us FPL positive in our reports. Well, that's why the name, now you know it. So let's get started and check out our options for the game week 1. Let's get the ball rolling. Oh, I mean kicking. So, Samrat and Sarthak, let's get on with our team for the first game week. Are you both in?
Hello, Mohar.
Hello,
Yeah,
Mohan.
hello. Yeah, hi Sarthak, hi Samrat. So, all ready and excited for the FPL team selection now?
Yes, we are all excited, and the new season has come by very quickly.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it hardly feels like there's a new season. I think it's just a continuation with some international break in between.
Yeah,
So, Sarthak and Samrat, we have basically picked up a team. I mean, for all our viewers, we have picked up our team. But today, the whole motto is to just discuss a few options in and around the goalkeeping option, defenders, strikers, midfielders, and perhaps create a virtual option and substitution for a few players so that if we feel by tomorrow or the day after we need to change a player, we could have a second backup, third backup option for every position, right? So let's
yes.
go and discuss it. So we're just on the FPL website now. So I'll just go onto the transfers tab and in the words of Fabrizio Romano, here we go. Okay, so what do you have to say about the goalkeeping options, both of them?
I mean, they are quite good choices, but I had a third choice in mind, Emiliano Martinez. But given the situation at Arsenal, I don't know how much he will be playing
Okay.
because of Bernd Leno is in the team as well. So Matt Ryan and Alex McCarthy are good options in the goalkeeper because they keep quite a few clean sheets when they play really well, and they are not that costly as well when compared to some of the other goalkeepers around the community.
Right.
Yeah,
And
Ryan and McCarthy both are 4.5. That is the, I think, the minimum cost of first 11 goalkeeper that we can have in FPL. So, from the past records from the last season, we have seen
okay.
both Ryan and McCarthy giving a handful amount of point. So, I think Ryan and McCarthy are a good option.
Okay, just to add a quick question on that. I mean, a lot of people would go with one goalkeeper who is playing and one non-playing goalkeeper who would be four. So some people would go with 4.5 and 4 or 5 and 4. So do you think that, I mean, I am someone who generally goes for a non-playing goalkeeper as the second option. I can always change that option if my playing goalkeeper isn't picked or something, or anytime he gets injured, like last year Allison got injured at the start of the league. But then would you mind going for a Ryan and a Brighton goalkeeper who is a backup, which is 4? Because if Ryan doesn't play, the backup goalkeeper will definitely play. So you have a point, you say 1.5, so would you go for that, or you do like having two goalkeepers from two different teams who are going to play?
I will rather have two goalkeepers from two different teams who are going to play because, so just suppose if one goalkeeper is not playing in FPL, there is this rule of first substitution. So if your goalkeeper is not playing, it's automatically replaced by the goalkeeper who is playing, and if he is in your team as the first substitution. So just in case you have a goalkeeper in your first team who isn't playing, and then you have a goalkeeper in the reserve who will definitely not play, so that is a loss of say 4.5 million for me. So
Okay.
personally, I will pick both the goalkeepers who are playing.
Yeah,
For
and
for for
yeah.
me also, if both the goalkeepers are playing, there is an opportunity for us, say in the middle of a season, there are some difficult game weeks for both the
Hmm.
teams, and we can
Hmm.
swap between the goalkeepers and get good handful amount of points.
Absolutely, yeah, because that is what I thought as well while we are selecting this team. Why I went with this, I mean, goalkeepers from two different teams was if someone has a bad fixture, you can always swap and change, and depending on the form of the defenders, you can always say, "Oh, I don't want Ryan this week. I want McCarthy because Southampton are scoring goals and not many teams are counter-attacking them, and what all those logics come into the fray. Then perfect. Then yeah, so you three of us agree on the goalkeeping decisions. Let's move forward. When I say forward, I move to the defense. So yeah, someone among you would like to, I mean, justify or defend the selection of Ben White, Charlie Taylor, Alexander Arnold, John Egan, and Doherty? I mean, or would you like to discuss any other options as well? Just
Yeah,
go ahead and.
I mean, like one of the two other options which I would like to discuss. Oh, one is specifically you can say Kieran Tierney, who would come for around 5.5 million, and he's one of the best left backs in football. He has the potential yet to fulfill.
Mm-hmm,
So that is a good option. You can say the likes of Matt Doherty. You can swap Matt Doherty around for Kieran Tierney.
mm-hmm,
And the another option which I feel is like instead of John Egan for the same price, you can have
mm-hmm.
Japhet Tanganga from
Yeah,
Tottenham
Spurs.
Hotspurs,
Yep,
and
yep,
he has really been a rising star under Jose Mourinho, and can be a
right.
good option if Jose Mourinho tries to play with that three at the back system.
Yep, yep, yep. True, true. Absolutely agree. Samrat, would you like to throw some light on this?
Yeah, like this current line of defenders are very good. One thing I want to add is that as we know that Wolves always give good amount of money for clean sheets and all. The defenders, the defenders playing for Wolves.
Yep,
So
yep,
maybe one Cody can be included in the lineup.
yep, yep, yep. Okay. So, but then would you go for TAA or Robertson? Because then that point 0.5 would perhaps save you, I mean, would perhaps help you upgrade on some different position.
I mean, like if I have to probably drop out a player out of all of this selected, I would probably drop Matt Doherty and take in Kieran Tierney
Okay.
because that is more possibility of two fullbacks giving points. And
All
yeah,
right.
and Matt Doherty, even though I guess he will be playing in the fullback position or in the right side of the three defenders,
Mm-hmm.
but he's that 0.5 million more, and he's in the range of that 6 million, which I don't sometimes really want to spend on the defenders.
Yeah, right. Absolutely true. So you are keeping it flexible because you might perhaps want to have a option for Doherty later on, because then if he doesn't perform well, there is always an option with you wherein you replace Doherty with someone else from a different team, and then you can anyway save money. As well as when you replace Doherty, it's generally because you are going down with the defender, so you're downgrading when it comes to costs, right?
Yes,
So you go
exactly.
so you go from Doherty at 6 to someone who is at 4.55 or 5.5, so you're anyway going to save money.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
there is this other argument about like even though we select a team, there are some teams who are playing against each other. So
Yep.
there is
Yep.
that calculation about who do you want to bet your money on? Which horse do you want to bet your money on? Do you want to trust your
Absolutely.
defender to keep the clean sheet, or do you take him out and keep a striker from the opposition team and trust them
Yep.
to score?
Yep. I just had a quick question for Samrat as well. I mean, we were discussing yesterday, the day before, about the teams and stuff. But what do you think? Trent Alexander-Arnold for 7.5 or Andrew Robertson at 7? Then you save 0.5 and you then get that 0.5. I mean, you add that 0.5 and we have 0.5 already remaining. So we have then 1, and then you go from that to from Ings to Werner. So, I mean, do you feel that going down from Alexander Arnold to Robertson would perhaps help you upgrade your options in your midfield or striker?
So far, like Trent Arnold, Alexander Arnold, there are two things. First of
Mhm.
all, as you mentioned about the Liverpool defenders, Virgil van Dijk, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Andy Robertson. The clean sheet points for these three players will be almost same.
Mhm.
And of course, Liverpool being a top team, so we can expect a good amount of points from the defenders.
Yep.
But the edge that Trent Alexander-Arnold has over other two players is that first of all he can give assist. Secondly, he can take free kicks, and also he's Liverpool's corner taker. So like there is always a chance that his uh, corner, the corner getting converted into a goal.
Yeah,
So he
yeah.
gets
You
that.
can always have that corner taken quickly moment with
Yeah.
him, right? Yeah.
course.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
that is like proven fact from the last season also, where I think he got around 210 points.
Mhm.
If I'm not
Yep.
wrong.
Yep. He got 210 while Robertson got 181. And also I think Robertson was injured for 2-3 matches, and it happens this way that Alexander Arnold converted a few free kicks as well, and he was quite very, very good. So basically, some people, I think Robertson would work for them because they would not mind losing those 30 points in a defender and then gain perhaps those extra points in a midfielder or a striker. So it comes down to, I think, whoever is comfortable with what. And this,
Yeah.
perhaps after maybe 10 game weeks, we might be sitting here and saying, oh, Robertson was a perfect choice because both on the wings and because Liverpool, it also depends on who out of Mane and Salah have a good start to the season, because then if the feeders will change and the wings would be rapid, and perhaps you never know, because Alexander Arnold did well last year, people might be marking him now, and then Robertson could have his way and assist many. But yeah, things to be seen as we go along. Right, so let's move to the midfield. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, Mohamed Salah, Saint Maximin, Son, and Soucek. So Sarthak, what do you have to say?
What
Are you happy or are you okayish with this midfield?
I mean, obviously, I'm okayish but at the end of the day, there are, you can say, 12 million players in there. So that is my financial instincts kicking in, trying to save money always.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
probably what I would do is, even though you can say Mason Greenwood, Manchester United are not playing in the first game week, I probably pick up Mason Greenwood instead of Aubameyang, and probably instead invest in a player like Kai Havertz, who is not that costly yet but might get costly, instead of Soucek.
Yeah. And he also provides a differential option, right? Because not
Yes,
many people would be
exactly.
going for Havertz.
Yeah, but yeah, Heung-min Son, yes, I would like to have him.
Yeah. So how much is Havertz for? I mean, let's see. Havertz is 8.5. So you could
Yes.
directly substitute Heung-min Son, or perhaps you could save on someone like an Aubameyang, and you get 3.5, and you directly go from Ings to Harry Kane, or perhaps Maupay to a Timo Werner, and still have 0.5 in the bank. So
Yes.
yeah, it gives you a lot of flexibility when you have Havertz in place of Aubameyang, and then you could perhaps, upgrade one midfielder and one striker, so you could have that flexibility depending on. But that's the big question here. Would you like to take a punt so early in the season? Because you haven't seen Havertz play in the Premier League, you haven't seen Timo Werner, you haven't seen Hakim Ziyech playing there, so it's all a new entity. Even though Chelsea have got a lot of new signings, if someone like Declan Rice comes in, you know that he is a proven Premier League material. But the question among the FPL managers would be, we know those are all good aggressive options, but would they do well in the Premier League? And if it's like Nicolas Pepe from Arsenal, he is a goal scoring machine for his club, for his previous club, but then you perhaps take a few game weeks to get used to the pace of the Premier League, and as much as good a players they would be for the team, they might not be necessarily good FPL assets. But yeah, that's like the FPL conundrum this year. Yeah. And so Samrat, let's quickly move on to the forwards, and then perhaps at the end of the episode, we'll just discuss about a few positional substitutes or options that we have. But yeah, Keenan Davis, Maupai, and Danny Ings. Do you feel that by going for heavily on the midfield, you have lost out on some edge in the strikers position?
First of all, this year we have seen some like interesting changes provided by this FPL committee. Like for example, Aubameyang is now playing in the midfield, and whereas he's a proper striker. So like I feel like maybe if we go with a lower budget striker and who keeps on scoring around like 10 plus goals and get decent amount of points, and also if we select players from the lower end team, there are the chances of getting the bonus points as well. So Davis, I'm not quite sure. Mope, yeah, Mope is a good option, of course. And then comes to Danny Ings. Will he continue his form from last season? Also, for the same amount of money, we can get Raul Jimenez. So that's like question who to take and who not to take.
So is Jimenez 8.5?
I think so.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
He's 8.5 here. You can see here Jimenez is 8.5. Yeah, and Jimenez 8.5, 194 points. Danny Ings 8.5, 198 points. So actually head to head, right? So you would perhaps then have to go on your gut feeling or perhaps the style of play, because the only thing about Jimenez is he is consistent, but he does not get more than one goal. And as an FPL fan or FPL manager, it usually comes perhaps at the end of the match, where in 70 minutes, then Adama Traore comes on the wings, and then he is constantly on the lookout for Jimenez. I mean, last year I remember I had Jimenez in my team, and I was hoping, seeing the score at 75 minutes, it was still 0-0, and then somehow Adama Traore comes on the right wing, just kicks it, and Jimenez has a header. I mean, there were 3-4 matches where the exact same thing happened. So Danny Ings has a lot more flexibility in terms of from where he can score goals. And I think is Danny Ings also on the penalties, because I think he missed one last year, and there was some.
Yeah, I mean, like in terms of Danny Ings, you can understand that Wolves have a lot of different goal scorers, but when it comes to Southampton, it is predominantly their striker Danny Ings and probably James Ward-Prowse.
Yeah. I think Ward-Prowse is also on penalties.
Yeah. Right. And Danny Ings is the target man.
Exactly. So Danny Ings is the key linchpin for basically Southampton. Yeah. So if Southampton has to score goals, it has to go through him.
Yeah. Same with Mope for Brighton.
And another point you can take is like probably switch around your players a bit and probably go for someone like Mitrovic in the striking position.
Yeah, true. So if we take, so basically what we have discussed is we can go from Ings to Jimenez, or we could perhaps, as Sarthak would do it, perhaps take out Aubameyang, though he has good 2 fixtures, but then perhaps put in Kai Havertz here, and then he'll get around 3.5 to spend, and with that 3.5, you can also go from Mopai to Jimenez, as well as go from Son to someone like a Bruno Fernandes, because Bruno Fernandes is 1.5, and then you have a Bruno Fernandes on the bench, and in the second game week you can get him back. Also, you could have Mason Greenwood at 7.5 somewhere. So if you have someone like a Mason Greenwood here, instead of Son, you can get 1.5 extra, or maybe keep Son and replace Aubameyang with 7.5. In that case, you get 4.5 extra to spend, wherein you could then in the forward line or maybe somewhere else strengthen. And you have a lot of options.
There is some other options which people might not pick out. The likes of, you can say, Pablo Hernandez or Calvin Phillips or Jamie Shackleton.
Yeah. What do you think about Leeds' defense? Because Ayling and Dallas are, I think, they look set for getting a few points apart from the clean sheet. Irrespective of whether they get the clean sheet or not, they are a good goal threat. As well as I talk about Arsenal's Bukayo Saka, because 5.5, he's got the number 7 jersey. He's going to be in the midst of a good midfield. He has Aubameyang at his peak, and then Arsenal have signed Willian. So there's a lot of Ceballos has signed back. So Bukayo Saka is someone who Arteta believes in, and I think he's a guaranteed starter. So at 5.5, what do you think of him? He could be a real asset.
Yeah, and another option is the news is just coming in that Michy Batshuayi has moved to Crystal Palace,
Yeah,
where he will
yeah,
be a guaranteed starter.
yep. Along with
So,
Zaha and Andre Ayew.
yeah, so Michy Batshuayi playing in a midfield team is more dangerous than Michy Batshuayi playing in Chelsea. And
Yeah, true.
and if he doesn't get injured, I expect quite a few points from him.
Yeah, true. Absolutely. That's also a very good point that you make. I mean, I think that's a decision where we might have to wait to see how it unfolds, right?
And in terms of,
Yeah.
as you said about Leeds defenders, I wouldn't risk them for the first game week because they are playing Liverpool. But yeah,
You know what? I feel Leeds might have an upset for the champions. I just never know. I'm just I'm a football romantic here. They're just wanting someone like a Leeds to just set the apple cart, like Norwich did to Manchester City last year. Just set the apple cart rolling. I mean, just first 2 weeks, that bounce of getting promoted, bang, go against the champions and beat them. So I just think have somewhere behind that there could be a Bielsa masterclass coming here.
I mean, rather than the defense, I would go for somebody like you say, Pablo Hernandez, from whom
Yeah,
I
true.
have a more expectation of points, and probably will be cheaper
Yeah.
than Heung-min Son or Soucek. I don't know about if it's cheaper than Soucek, but he would be definitely cheaper than Heung-min Son.
Yeah. Let's go and see the Leeds options. I mean, Pablo Hernandez.
Yeah, he will be a lot cheaper.
It's 6, so he's not cheaper than Soucek, but he's
cheaper
than
a lot cheaper than Heung-min Son, and
yeah,
3
absolutely.
million. Probably you save another 3 million from somewhere. I mean, out of Aubameyang and Salah, if I had to drop someone, I would probably drop Salah.
Oh yeah,
That's,
same here because the last season Aubameyang played in striker position, and I think he scored more than 200 points last
Yep.
year.
Yep.
Yeah, so let's compare. First of all, let's compare the last season points of Salah and Aubameyang to get a brief idea.
yeah, so exactly. So as you say, Salah is 233 points, and Aubameyang is 205, and
Oh, yeah.
205 as a forward, and 233 as a midfielder.
I mean, if
Right.
Aubameyang played in the midfield, it would be well around 285 to 90.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. 260 to 70 for sure. I mean, that has to be, because if you count 21 goals and every extra point that you get with it, it would be around 20 points there itself, and then the bonus points that he would get, then the the extra assist point, everything that he would have gotten. And if he was in midfield, he would have got a point for clean sheet. So you have Arsenal kept a good amount of clean sheets. I mean, if you want to check it that way, so you might have 45 points extra, which takes him to 260 anyway. So yeah, I mean, I agree on that. I mean, Aubameyang, if he does what he did last year, and considering he's in the midfield option this year, he could be the player of the season. He could be the KDB of last year, basically, in terms of the points.
Right. Yeah. So coming to KDB, the last if we go by the
I mean, I
total
don't want to select any Manchester City players because it is kind of a roulette going around
Right,
with Pep
right.
Guardiola.
and
Yeah.
and this season we will see players like Phil Foden getting more game time.
And I think in the coming episodes we'll discuss about Phil Foden as well. I mean, the key for picking Man City players is, the first thing is that they are not playing in the game week 1. So Aston Villa, Burnley, Manchester United, Man City are not playing in the game week 1. But then the key is, you can always say that Jack Grealish is going to play for Villa. You can always say that Charlie Taylor, Nick Pope, and whoever is going to play for Burnley. You can always say Bruno Fernandes, Mason Greenwood, Rashford, Martial. If Sancho doesn't come in, Greenwood is pretty much nailed on. But then with City, you just never know, right? You could have the best player. You could have won the man of the match last match. He could be sitting on the bench the next match. So you just never know. Like Sarthak said, it's a pep roulette, and I think people will wait for 2-3 game weeks to bring in and nail down the key player. I mean, as of now, it's either KDB or Sterling. But you just never know. If you realize that Phil Foden is going to start, he might be a pretty much good bargain buy for 6.5. And even if he rests for 7-8 matches, for a 30 match season for him at 6.5, he will be pretty much nailed on to give you 130, 150 points for sure. So I mean,
Yes.
we'll have to wait and watch, and
And
perhaps
also
then
for the
say,
this year's Chelsea squad as well. Like we have to see how Frank Lampard's line up these players
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah,
he
absolutely.
has got a long list of players in the bench uh, like
I have no
Mason
idea how
Mount,
he's going to go about it. I mean, it's complete.
Mason Mount and all. I
It's
think
like when you win everything in the casino and you don't know how to spend the money. It's like this. I mean, you have all those players now. It will be very very interesting to see.
like Mason Mount was, I believe, the player who played the most matches for Chelsea last season, and
Exactly.
then
Yeah.
in his position now comes, I think, one of the most costly transfers of German football, Kai Havertz.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I
it
guess we
will be a
can
tough fix.
discuss the transfer saga in a different podcast because
Absolutely, yeah. Because and I can completely see. I mean, for all the viewers who are watching, I mean, these are all both of them are Chelsea fans, so I can see the excitement.
And also one thing we should mention here about Lundstrom. Like as we discussed that there are few players whose position has been changed by the FPL community. So like we didn't pick Lundstrom despite of the
Yeah,
fact that he scored a handful amount of points last season. But
yeah, yeah,
though most of these points come from like clean sheets. So now that he is not playing in that defense position anymore,
yeah.
so
And basically because he's reclassified as a midfielder, he loses on the extra point for scoring a goal, and also that he'll not getting so many points for clean sheet. It generally becomes less not a great prospect. He was the find of the season last year, so he was basically the Lord Lundstrom. But this year we might have to find a different Lord Lundstrom, right?
right, and no, actually, I saw many people selecting Lundstrom.
I mean
Maybe I don't know.
instead of Lundstrom, probably you can go for someone like Jaden Bogle, who might be a very cheap buy. I don't think his FPL price is revealed yet. He just came up from the
Yeah, yeah,
championship.
yeah, yeah. We'll have to perhaps wait, and I think now that Game Week 1 is coming, I think now that we do this podcast, we might be
And
doing the next podcast, and we'll be laughing at ourselves for suggesting a few names because they might backfire, and some people might have picked a different name, and they might just be saying, "Oh, we told you so, 100 points." So it's going to be very funny
yeah,
how the game works. It's going to be funny, but yeah, I mean, if you had a good time talking on this, I think we're all set with our personal teams, but I think getting a good head around what three of us think, and then having a best 11 out of what three of us think, and let's see how it goes. So we'll just try and continue this venture that we are gone ourselves into. It's just a social experiment for us as well, I think, because we are all into so deeply down into FPL and Premier League and everything. We just want to see and try if people agree to what we're saying, people disagree to what we're saying, and we can also basically learn of what people have to say. We will just never know. There would be a player in the comment, he could just bag a hat trick, and we'll be like, oh, we should have read his comment and perhaps picked him up. So it's
yeah.
always a good learning curve. With FPL, you never know, you might finish 5 million, or maybe you just finish in top 10. So yeah, let's hope our team does well. So let's stay positive with FPL Positive 11 and just hope for the best. And thank you, Samrat and Sarthak. I think
Uh,
we basically keep continuing this, and we'll try to take this for the entire season. We are just amateurs venturing into it, but we are all pumped up, and we are all wanting to do the right things and the right way. So yeah, thank you, and
Thank you.
let's maybe
Thank
tune
you,
into a
Mohar. Thank you, sir.
podcast soon. Yeah.
So.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. Bye bye. Take care.
Bye bye.